Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Ayman Safadi said the continuation of the Israeli occupation and denying the Palestinians the right to establish their independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital is the biggest threat to the region. In remarks at the opening of the annual conference of the Arab Thought Foundation in Dubai, Safadi said the Palestinian cause will remain a central issue, noting that the region will not enjoy security and stability until a solution is found for the Palestinian-Israeli conflict based on the two-state solution. The minister also reiterated Jordan's rejection of foreign interference in Arab affairs and called for establishing regional relations based on dialogue and mutual respect. The UN Security Council is due to vote on 3 draft resolutions on chemical weapon attacks in the Syrian town of Douma. The 15-member council will vote on a U.S. draft resolution that would establish a new inquiry to lay blame for chemical weapons attacks in Syria, while Russia will put to a vote its own rival draft resolution to create an inquiry which it first circulated in January. Russia will also ask the council to vote on a second new draft resolution that would specifically support sending investigators from the Global Chemical Weapons Watchdog to the site of the alleged deadly attack. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons said that inspectors would travel to the Syrian rebel-held town to investigate reports of the attack that killed some 60 people. Dozens of buses arrived in rebel-held northwestern Syria carrying rebels who had agreed to surrender the town of Douma near Damascus after it was hit in a suspected chemical attack. The deal took effect on Sunday, hours after medical aid groups reported the suspected chemical attack, saying it had killed dozens of people. The deal restored President Bashar al-Assad's control over the entire eastern Ghouta, formerly the biggest rebel bastion near Damascus. The UN Refugee Agency voiced alarm at spiraling new displacements as hundreds of people began to leave the town, and the pro-government Watan newspaper said about 40,000 more and their families were due to leave in all. North Korean leader Kim Jongun chaired a party meeting where he analyzed the future outcome of dialogue with the United States. U.S. President Donald Trump also said at a cabinet meeting yesterday that he planned to meet the North Korean leader next month or in early June and hoped the discussions would ultimately lead to an end to the North's nuclear weapons program. This report has more.
Washington and Pyongyang have secretly been in touch, and apparently it's bringing in results. For the first time, North Korea has told the U.S. it's willing to discuss denuclearization when Kim Jongun meets with Donald Trump at a potential summit. That's according to a U.S. official who says the contacts happened through 2 different channels. Officials from both sides spoke through the U.S. mission at the United Nations headquarters and a separate back channel for intelligence officers. Up to this point, Washington had mostly been relying on South Korea as a middleman. The U.S. official didn't confirm how long the secret channels have been open, but did say that multiple contacts have been held and that the Kim-Trump summit is slated for May. There are already several stumbling blocks ahead of those talks. The biggest one, denuclearizing, might mean very different things for Washington and Pyongyang. The U.S. sees it as North Korea abandoning its nuclear weapons program, while Pyongyang has said in the past it'll consider giving that up if the U.S. withdraws from the Korean peninsula for the first time since the Korean War. For years, Washington has insisted any summit like that must be preceded by North Korean steps to denuclearize, and some analysts say Trump's willingness to meet with Kim has handed Pyongyang a diplomatic win.
Meanwhile, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that he has accepted an invitation to visit Pyongyang. Lavrov told reporters after meeting his North Korean counterpart in Moscow that no decision had been made on talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. He also said Russia welcomed what he called the gradual normalization of the situation on the Korean peninsula and supported contact between North Korea and the United States. A house built by a 3D robot printer was opened to the public in western France, with backers hailing it as a step forward in green construction. The teams heading up the project said it was the first house built for human habitation using 3D printing techniques. The robot printer uses a special polymer material for the two outside layers of the building's walls, which reduces waste and, when combined with the concrete inner layer, makes for extremely efficient insulation and ups its green credentials. The 5-room house will be allocated to a family according to the usual criteria of social housing, with the first tenants expected to move in June. With the World Cup 2018 just around, plans are already being made for the next tournaments. A joint South American bid to host the 2030 World Cup will feature 8 cities in Argentina, 2 in Paraguay, and 2 in Uruguay. Argentina and Uruguay, who have both won the World Cup twice, decided to launch a joint bid last year and later added Paraguay, who have never won the tournament. The bid is designed to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the first World Cup, which took place in Uruguay in 1930. 2 official bids to host the 2026 event have been submitted to FIFA, a joint bid by Canada, Mexico, and the United States, and another one from Morocco. And finally, a look at the weather. Cool and partly cloudy conditions continue for the rest of tonight, with a chance for scattered rain in the northern and central regions. Chilly weather prevails across the kingdom tomorrow, as temperatures remain 4 to 6 degrees below their seasonal average. Amman can expect a high of 15 degrees Celsius and a low of 9, while the Gulf of Aqaba, relatively warm weather is in the forecast, with a high of 27 degrees sliding down to 17 degrees at night. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Nancy Khair. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.